How about you? Welcome to Hamiltonville Farm. Power takeoff, 3-point hitch. What's all that mean? I'm gonna tell you, stick around. I posted a video earlier about Tractor Lingo 101, and I covered the front half of the tractor. Well, in this video, I want to cover the back half of the tractor because there's so much to learn, so much to understand about when you're researching how to buy a tractor. And this video is really designed for a person who is on their, the first-time tractor owner, or it's designed for someone who may not, a new tractor owner who may not understand the lingo. And so if you're a CAT diesel mechanic or if you're ASE certified, you're not going to get anything out of this video. But what you can do is you can help educate all of us in the comment section below, because it's going to be very broad brush. It's going to be very basic 101 tractor ownership type stuff. But we would love comments from the community about how to make us all better as tractor operators and owners. I'm actually going to put a link to a card up here that references the front half Tractor Lingo, and you can watch that as well if you haven't already looked at that. So let's dive into the back half of this. So there's a lot to think about of what's all going on in the cockpit. So let's break down. In the last video, we left off with the gear shifter levers and the four-wheel drive. So we'll pick up at the cockpit area on the back half of the tractor and work our way toward the back of the tractor. Okay, with that being said, let's look at this area to the right of the seat. Again, you're going to have different configurations for different tractors, but all the levers pretty much do the same thing. The terminology is the same. So you look at here, let's start on the floor and work our way up. This pedal here is the differential lock. And why is it a differential lock? Because it's different. I'm just kidding. All right, so the differential lock, what it does, it allows you to, when you depress this down, it will actually make both tires spin or engage the axle to rotate both tires. Okay, so on the back tires, not the front tires, just the back tires. So you depress the differential lock. Let's say you're slipping in some mud, or you're on some wet grass, or you're over a stump that you need some extra traction to get over. Take the heel of your right foot, depress this pedal here, it'll kick in both tires and it'll give you that little extra traction to get over that situation that you're in. Okay, moving on up, over here you have your parking brake. Again, different models have different configurations for parking brakes, but it's simply an up-down function to set and release your parking brake. Now these two levers here, these are your position control levers. This has the letters DC on it, and that means draft control. And what do you mean by draft control? I mean, NASCAR fans out there, you know all about drafting, right? But any architect fans out there, you know all about drafting too. Listen, I'm hitting all the audience in this video, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, the draft control lever is this. You can see the words deeper on the housing of the levers. Well, if you move your draft control lever, that controls how deep your implement goes. Let's say you have a box blade on the back of your tractor and you don't want it digging into the ground. Well, you can actually set how deep that box blade goes with this lever here, and it will not go past whatever level you set it on. So that's a really cool function to learn to use, and you can set it different ways with this little wing nut here. They're all essentially the same, but the draft control lever simply means how deep is that implement going to be able to dig into the ground and continue to dig if you don't use it, or if you do use it. The black knob handle that I have here is my position. This is my lift and lower position control lever. And what do I control? Well, I control the implement or the attachment that I have on the 3-point hitch, which we'll talk about later in the video, okay? So you bring it forward to lower the implement down to the ground. You raise it up to lift the implement higher. And again, it only works through hydraulic power with the engine running. So you just have to think about that. Well, what happens? How do I control the speed of the up and down, or how the implement lowers? What if I'm carrying an implement across town? Let's say I'm a farmer and I want to carry a heavy implement across town, and I don't want it to inadvertently lower to the ground, or I don't want to lose hydraulic pressure. Well, each tractor has a way to keep that from happening. So let's talk about that. For the Mahindra 4540, 4550, and a lot of other Mahindra models, so I'm sure it's the same on other brands or manufacturers, they have what they call an isolating valve, and that's this this control valve here. What you can do is you control this. You can open or close the amount of hydraulic fluid that goes through there, so that the implement does not lower by like I mentioned earlier. For an example, let's say you're taking a sprayer across town and you've got it riding pretty high as you're going down, you're going down the road with it. You don't want it to drop. Well, you can close this valve here, and that will keep that hydraulic pressure from leaking, and it will keep it from accidentally lowering. Let's say you bump your lever, it'll keep it from accidentally lowering that implement as you're going down the road. Also in your cockpit, you have your power takeoff lever, which is here. So let's talk about the power takeoff, or the PTO. That's a very common acronym that we use on a tractor. My tractor has a lever that you use. You have to engage the clutch, and we talked about the dual clutch in the earlier video. You have to take this, and to engage it, you just follow the instructions. You just pull it back, you move it off to the side and pull it back to the back, and that will engage the PTO. What is PTO? PTO is power takeoff. And in layman's terms, again, I'm not a mechanic, so if you're a mechanic out there and you're going to get all crazy about my definitions, just go ahead and skip forward about 30 seconds. Simply, power takeoff means all you do is you take off power from your tractor and you transfer it to an implement that needs it, that cannot produce the power on its own. So how does it transfer that? You engage that lever and it comes out your PTO shaft. Your PTO shaft is this shaft here that's a spline shaft, and it has a notch in it, and your implements will lock onto where that notch is. That's your PTO shaft, or your power takeoff shaft. That's what you hook up bush hogs, augers, you name whatever implement that needs to be powered by the tractor, that's where you're going to hook it up. Okay, let's talk more about the back end of this thing. Sometimes you hear the acronym SMV, that means slow moving vehicle. Got to have this triangle on the back of there in accordance with a lot of state laws. I'm pretty sure most states have this law that you got to put this slow moving vehicle triangle on your tractor somewhere if you're going to drive it on highways or roadways. Okay, what is this big old bar? What is this big old roll bar doing on here? And what's all this stuff that's connected to it? Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's your rollover protection system, ROPS, all right? It also, you'll hear people call it ROPS. Some people call it ropes. I guess it depends on where you're at in the country and your accent. I've got a pretty cool accent, so I'm going to say ROPS, right? But this rollover protection system is designed to protect you if the tractor rolls over. And that's coupled with your seatbelt. So when you're on terrain that's uneven, you need to make sure that you got your seatbelt on, and this will help protect you if the tractor decides to roll over. Well, you still ain't told me what all this garbage is right here. Well, they knew that you were going to put it in shipping containers, in garages, lean-tos, all this that may not be tall enough to accommodate such a high bar. So what they've done is they've modified this thing so that it is hinged here, and you can remove this pin on both sides, and this rollover protection system will actually fold in half, and you can park this thing under. It gives you, now my clearance is right here as opposed to 2 more feet up in the air. So that allows you to get parked underneath some tighter spaces. Or if you're going to be working in some woods where you're going to be in tree limbs and stuff, and you need this you need more clearance to get under tree limbs and things like that, you can break down your rollover protection. It just hangs, it doesn't come off the tractor, it just breaks down, and you can still use it on your tractor. All right, let's talk about more of the back end. Okay, we're about to wrap up this video just talking more about the back end of this thing, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. You'll hear the term rear remotes, and what that means is, if you refer back to my video earlier on the front half of the tractor, I talked about a third function kit that allows you to tie in a grapple or another hydraulic function for the front type attachment or front implement. Well, some tractors have rear remotes, which is this one doesn't have it, but you have hydraulic fittings back here to plug in, like backhoes, or you can actually run your hoses for your front implements to the back, but you just have to buy 30-foot long piece of hose or whatever, but it can work, and you can hook them up from the back side as well. Some tractors come standard with rear remotes, some don't. So the back half of this tractor has a lot going on. So let's work our way from the bottom to the top. Let's just start right here. This is called your drawbar. This drawbar swings, so that you can pull trailers with it or whatever. But what is a 3-point hitch? Well, a 3-point hitch is the hitch that's on the back of the tractor that connects to an implement or attachment in 3 points. So you have your right point, your left point, your top point. And so this particular, my tractor has what they call a quick hitch on it, because I can just back up to an implement, hook it up, and be good to go. If I didn't have this, you would just see the ends of these arms here. You have this is called your lift arm here. And this particular tractor is category 1 or category 2 capable as far as implements or attachment goes. Well, that's another term you need to be familiar with. The size of the tractor will determine what category of implement you can pull from it. When you look at this particular link here, this is called your top link. This top link connects here. And it doesn't, it's real loose. It only provides for stabilization and things like that. So there's not going to be any lifting power associated with your top link. Some people actually replace this with chain top links or hydraulic top links to make their life easier hooking attachments on and off. But these are your these cylinders here are connected to your lift arms, which is here. And so you have this one and you have this one, and this is what these two is what actually raises and lowers your implements, but you know, connected through this whole mechanism here. But this is what actually does it based on the gears that are underneath your seat here. And so that's what that does for your lift arms. Tractors have stabilizing arms. They're different functions as well, which is, you can see here, I have this arm that keeps this from going left and right over and over. And so what you need to do is you can pull this pin out, and now I have more function to move it left or right. But I simply put this pin back in. Now my implement won't hit my tire. And most tractors are like that. So that's really kind of the back half of the tractor lingo and all that stuff. So there's a lot to, I mean, there's just so much to learn. There's so much to understand. There's just so much to know about operating the tractor, especially if you're a rookie tractor owner or a first-time tractor owner. I mean, you really have to study your operator's manual. You have to study your owner's manual to kind of get the best. And you have to go practice. You know, I've got a lot of videos on my channel about me practicing with my implements or my attachments just because I want to become a better operator. And so I highly recommend you do that as well. But let me tell you about our channel just a little bit before you go. Our channel is a hobby farm channel. We do a lot of tractor videos on it, but we also have some barn home renovation videos. So we would love for you to hit that subscribe button below. And also there's going to be a picture of the barn pop up here in the upper corners of the video. You can click on that as well. And you'll see a lot more videos like this. I hope you found this useful. I hope you find it educational. And you can share it with your friends who are thinking about buying a tractor. We would appreciate you liking this video. Leave a comment below if this helped you. If you are a certified mechanic or just an experienced tractor owner, please throw some comments in there about things that will make us all better as a tractor owner community. We would appreciate all that. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.